Hi, I'm Ray, ChubbyRay Comics. I don't buy single issues. I buy trade paperbacks. I buy omnibuses. I love collected editions, and I love Batman stories. And that's exactly why this video exists. Because when you love a character the way I love Batman, you don't just praise everything blindly. Sometimes you have to be honest. And that's what today is. Today, I'm doing part 1 of a series about Batman books I didn't like. And this is a rare thing, trust me, because I love Batman books. These are not books I hate for clicks. These are not books I'm pretending are controversial. These are Batman books I wanted to love, but I just couldn't. Let's start with book 1, Batman City of Crime. This is the kind of book I would usually like. It's nice and thick. It's a good long read. It's built really well. It's got a nice spine. It looks good. A lot of pages, but it's just not good. This book is dark, and I just don't mean dark as in content-wise. I mean dark as in the pages are dark. You need a lot of light to read this book. It's very moody. It's very street-level Gotham drama. In fact, I would call it Gotham horror. But the thing that really turned me off on this book is not Batman. It's Tim Drake. And it's because in this book, I don't know who this is. This isn't Tim Drake. Tim Drake is supposed to be the smartest Robin, the most emotionally aware Robin, the Robin who gets people. In fact, he's a Robin who gets all people. He's just a decent person, right? In this book, it's not the Tim Drake that I'm used to. It's not edgy in a thoughtful way. It's uncomfortable in a way that feels intentional. And in this book, Robin just doesn't get it. Tim Drake is not Tim Drake. Just look at this panel and Batman says, "Are you ready?" And Tim Drake says, "I was born ready." What's going on in this book? Do they have Charles Bronson playing Robin? What's going on? The Tim Drake in this book is too edgy. Not edgy in a thoughtful way. In this book, instead of tension, Tim Drake creates distance. By the way, this isn't Tim Drake to me. This book has just Tim Drake not being Tim Drake. This book has Tim Drake being misogynistic. I've read a lot of Batman. I've read a lot of Robin. And I can tell you one thing for certain. Tim Drake is not a misogynist, but in this book he is. Tim Drake is not Tim Drake. This Batman, it's too dark. The victim in this book is a young girl that Bruce Wayne talks to at a party in a very weird Epstein Islandish kind of way. It's not my Batman. It's not my Robin. It's too dark. It's too weird. It's intentionally over edgy. It's not good. Batman City of Crime is garbage. I hated this story. Batman book number 2 that I just didn't like, The Batman of Gotham. Let me be clear for those of you watching. I love Chip Zdarsky. He's one of my favorite writers. But this story by Chip Zdarsky is garbage. This book has Batman dimension hopping. And I'm not even sure why. This book also has Batman getting into a fight with Ghostmaker. That's a really weird fight, and I'm not even sure why. But Ghostmaker chops off Batman's hand. It's just completely bizarre with Batman getting his hand chopped off. He's in a different dimension. I don't know what Chip Zdarsky was doing. Batman's a great character, but he wasn't in this book. By chopping off his hand, it felt like shock for shock's sake. I don't even know how it furthered the story. I don't want Batman to be unrecognizable. I want him tested, not dismantled. And what Zdarsky was doing was dismantling our lead character. I wasn't a fan. This was volume 2 of Zdarsky's run, and I didn't like it. Batman of Gotham was garbage. And now, number 3 of the Batman stories I didn't like. It's time to talk about the elephant in the Batcave. Frank Miller, all-star Batman and Robin. By the way, this book has amazing art. It's Jim Lee, but my God, the story is horrendous. Is this the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue? What is this? This book is Frank Miller at his worst. It's mean-spirited. It's joyless. It's aggressively misogynistic. Batman is not intense here. He's cruel. Robin isn't trained. He's abused. And women are not characters. They're props or punchlines. I didn't find this book bold. I didn't find this book edgy. I found it exhausting. This isn't Batman, or at least this isn't my Batman. This book reads like a parody of what Batman's supposed to be. And yes, this book ties in directly into the Dark Knight trilogy, which, by the way, I can do a whole second video on just Frank Miller's Dark Knight trilogy because I hated that. But man, I hated this book. I hated the way that every female character's rear end is hanging out of whatever clothes she's wearing. And this book feels like Frank Miller was giving Jim Lee directions on how to draw women, and it's just very odd. There's only one part of this book that's a little bit interesting, and that's when Batman and Robin go up against Green Lantern, and they paint themselves and everything yellow. Outside of that, this book is horrible. Frank Miller, I don't know what happened in Frank Miller's life to make him become whatever he is, but this is not the Frank Miller that wrote Daredevil. This is not the creative Frank Miller that came up with Sin City stories. I don't know what it is. A mess? All-Star Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder is garbage. Here's the thing. This video was not easy for me to do because I love Batman. But loving comics doesn't mean loving everything. It means knowing what works for you and knowing what doesn't. And being honest about both. These books certainly didn't make me stop loving Batman. I love Batman. The majority of the Batman I read is some of my favorite things to do on this earth. These books reminded me why the good books matter. Because for every one of these bad books, I've got these Tynion Batman books, or Snyder Batman books, or Paul Dini Batman books. Even the weirdness that is Grant Morrison Batman books that are better than these. They were just Batman books I didn't care for. Now I want to hear from you. Which Batman books just didn't work for you? What story did you read that make you say, yeah, that's not my Batman? Drop your choices in the comments because I want to do a part 2 and 3 of this series. To be honest, I really did not like doing this video. I wish I'd have never found a Batman story I didn't like. But so far, I've found 3 and I really didn't like them. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to read the Chip Zdarsky book again when the Omnibus comes out. Hopefully I'll like it better this next time. I just don't ever see me liking that Frank Miller story. And the Batman City of Crime by David Lathan? Garbage. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Ray, ChubbyRay Comics. If you'd like to get these videos early, you can. Become a member, and then you'll get the videos when they're produced, not when they're released. Super thanks are always welcome. You know I love those super thanks. And be sure to watch my live shows. I've started streaming. I really enjoy talking comics with you every single day. Make sure you catch one of the live shows. That's it for this video. I'll see you next one. I'm ChubbyRay Comics. So long, everybody.